Okay, and that is 5-0 to the EU team. It's been incredible to watch. Talia, have you got any thoughts from what we've seen this evening?
I'm looking at the end splash screen, and it seems that a couple of the US guys actually had the highest scores, which doesn't matter for obviously the resources loss, but it's interesting to see that they had higher scores than everyone else, but the team still lost. So as I said with earlier, it goes down to how your team performs, not how individual pilots perform.
Definitely. It's one of those things where you need to pull all of your team together and not go out for the glory kills in order to try and win victory here. It was also interesting to find that with that team deathmatch, one of the things I was afraid of is that both teams would hunch back where their carriers are instead of going out and hunting for the kill. But no, it looks like in this exhibition match in particular that both teams were out for blood.
It seems so. During the FanFest tournament that happened in the last couple of rounds, that the teams would hold back for a little, but in that token the matches were shorter, so it was actually a better tactical advantage, a tactical situation to force your opposing team into making a mistake so that you could capitalize on it.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to get a couple of additional matches from the pilots. It is an exhibition match after all, and they are determined to put on a spectacle. Okay, so we're looking at another control point match again here. And it looks from the map display screen that it might be another asteroid field map. Yes, so we are looking at, you can see the Rorcal in front of Quantum Delta there. EVE Valkyrie is fantastic for being littered with lore and visual cues that have been lifted straight from EVE Online. So things like Rorcals, you'll see a few, I think they're covetors dotted around as well, flying around. You might spot the odd venture as well as the match plays out.
Yeah, it is the fun being an EVE player and going, I know what that ship is, I know what that ship is.
It also gives you a real sense of scale, because if you've piloted something like a Venture or a Covetor and you see these tiny things, they're almost like drones, hobgoblins, or warriors that you might launch from your fighter. You see these tiny things flying around, and you think there's a person inside that.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I believe as scaling goes, the Gecko was skin is based on the original Valkyrie fighter that they did for basically the start of when Valkyrie came about. I believe that was the Gecko was actually how big the fighter is. So if anyone plays EVE and has seen a Gecko, that's the scale that you're actually fighting at. It feels massive, but you're in your EVE scale, you're actually really tiny.
Yeah. We're flying with 1-5 at the moment, and you can see the way that he just throws himself around the cockpit, looking around, trying to get his head looking at wherever the enemy is. Unfortunately, he's spaced us there. Death is beautiful in this game.
Yeah, I believe 1-5 calls it a greedy kill if he gets blown up after it.
Well, he was hugging that asteroid grimly, so it's going to be an interesting one whether he was actually shot down or whether he just bumped into a rock.
Yeah, they dialed back the collision damage, but it is still a thing that you have to worry about while flying. The tournament that we're in, I don't believe it was as big as it is just now, so you could do more interesting maneuvers like bouncing off of structures to turn around faster, or you can still do it to a degree. I believe Juan does it quite a lot, where he'll actually flip his fighter 180 degrees by bouncing it off and slowing down, so he can just spin round.
So you can see with this match, we've got again a control point, and EU trying to control both nodes A and B, but the Americans have node C pretty much on lockdown at the moment. But even so, the EU team is about has twice the score of the US team at the moment.
So does that boil down to just the fact that they're holding 2 and killing a lot of people, or would you say that's just them killing a lot of people?
I would say it boils down to both of those. Yes, they're getting a good amount of score in terms of just locking down the nodes, but yeah, they are definitely dominating the kill board as well, no doubt about it.
We are seeing a lot of fire on heavy action, which is how you deal with heavies in the game. I believe is better to deal with a heavy with a fire than any other ship type. I think it was boiled down to me it's very rock paper scissors, where the supports are good at taking out the fighters, and then it goes from there. Fighters are good at taking out heavies, and heavies are good at taking out supports.
Yeah, there is a little bit of rock paper scissors in there for sure. I also think that with a heavy, you're going to be playing at a slight disadvantage on a map like this because of the tight turns, because of the intricacies of the map. It's always going to be a struggle to try and maneuver such a bulky craft around this, although not quite as bad as with the shipyard map.
I believe the current score is 30 to the US and 54 to the EU.
Yep. So it looks like we're going to see the EU walking away with yet another victory here. It's going to be interesting to chat to the pilots after the matches are finished and get their impression of how their teams were faring. So we'll try and get the team captains into the commentary booth after the final match and just get a bit of a debrief from them, from how they felt it was going, what they think helped them go to victory, or what was really holding them back.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what their overview is from the matches being in them.
Definitely.
But yeah.
So it looks like we're going to call this one the last match. And again, we get to the point now where the EU are on 48 points, the US are on 18, with about 4 minutes left on the clock. So it looks like this one isn't going to go to time. It's going to be a fairly quick win for the Europeans.
Well, that's how things work. And the next match will probably be a whitewash the other way, I'm sure.
It's interesting to see the difference, though. When we've seen the control point matches, the Europeans have been consistently dominating that particular map style. With the team deathmatch, it was much more even.